Today I watched the Civil War film and it was horrible. Really, really horrible. I do not recommend watching it. I do not think that it's a good film. If you want to have something to be incredibly depressed by, if you want to, if you feel cheerful and you prefer to feel miserable and feel like everyone's just horrible, nasty people, then yes, you should watch that film. But if otherwise, it's a terrible film. It had Kirsten Dunstin in it, and it was like I really liked her. I really liked the Bring It On, and I felt so similar to her, and she kind of was the main reason why I love cheerleading so much because she had so much energy, and it was like I want to be like this, and there was so much. I felt quite connected to her, so I really want her on my angel list, and I kind of called her Angel of Realistic Kindness because I kind of think she had that like vibe. But yeah, this song, this what she's completely changed as an actor. Like this is literally the opposite of that. But it's interesting because the inverted name to um, realistic kindness is unrealistic coldness. And yes, that was pretty much a sum up of how she was in this whole Civil War film. So it was basically she was like a journalist and a war journalist taking pictures of not just dead bodies, but people actually being tortured. Now, it's unrealistic because I don't believe that there's photographers that would actually go to like war scenes. Okay, they'll see the violence and they'll take pictures, but if they saw like someone had kidnapped two people, hung them by their hands, and one of them having like literally swollen up face, blood dripping everywhere, literally looking like they were two dead corpses, and then you find out, oh no, they're not dead, they're actually alive. I don't think a camera person would really, a press person would really be like, hey, yeah. So say to the person who's sort of proudly saying, oh yeah, I know this guy. He went to my school. Do you want to take a picture? I don't. It's unrealistic. I was in a really bad mood beforehand because I've been thinking that humans are like rats and stuff, and it's just like this was basically an interpretation of what I've been saying. But yeah, it's an exaggeration of what the world is like. The good thing about the film is that it made me realize that okay, humans are bad, but they're not this bad. I know that there are some people who do take pleasure out of torturing people, and this is probably usually in the impoverished countries because these people, I think, have a death wish. I mean, if you're living in have a horrible, shitty life, if say horrible things have happened to your mum or you when you were a child, or if your dad was or mum was killed, or something, if you've had a really terrible life, you'll have a very horrible sense of what is normal. Hence, you might think that torturing or killing people is normal. If you've been brought up in a war-torn town, you'd have all this anger and resilience, resilient, resel, I can't remember the word, anger. You have lots of anger, resemblance. I can't remember the name. I don't know the word I'm saying, like this anger, but towards resentment. That's it. You'd have all this resentment towards all the bad things that happened, and you might think it's funny to set someone alight and then burn it, but to think that there's camera press people who would take pictures of someone literally burning and just be like she is. I mean, okay, she wasn't happy or kind in any way. She was just kind of like, this is just normal. I'm here to take pictures. I'm not here to take sides. And then they actually killed the president at the end. So I'm pretty sure whoever made this film probably thinks that Donald Trump is going to get into presidency, and I'm pretty sure they don't give a shit if Donald Trump dies. I think the good thing about Donald Trump is the people who are most likely to, be like, yeah, I'm going to kill anyone, are most likely to be the people who are not going to kill Donald Trump because they're most likely people who act like Donald Trump. There was one guy who killed, he asked some guy, where are you from? And he was a journalist, but he said Thailand, and he just got shot instantly, even though this was like one of the other journalists, like best friend or something. He was really sad about the loss, and he just killed his friend afterwards. It was a very, very horrible scene, but that guy was just clearly cold as anything. And yeah, but he was going to kill the child as well. There was like a 15-year-old that was getting old. It's a horrible film. I would not recommend to anyone watch it. Um, but yeah, I think I need to add if I'm going to still keep Kirsten Dunst on my list, because I haven't seen all her films. I know there was another film actually that I didn't like. She looked a lot older in it, and I loved how she looked when she was younger because she was all fun and I felt very similar to her, and I still feel very similar and connected to her now. I just feel like I'm just very negative, and she looks very negative, and and yeah, she didn't look very well presented either. She could have done a little bit more to make herself look a bit prettier, but I guess that wasn't part of the character. The character was basically just a pissed off, bitter, angry woman who's had years of years of seeing all sorts of terrible things happen and just taking pictures of it like it's not happening. I just don't believe it's realistic. To take pictures of dead bodies is one thing. To take pictures of a crime after people have been blown up, that's another thing. But to take pictures of people whilst they're actually being tortured, I just feel it's completely unrealistic. And I'm surprised that the government would even allow something like this to be, because they killed the president at the end, and throughout the whole thing, they're just killing of both sides, and you didn't really know why they were fighting or anything. It was just, see that house, what's going on there? And then it's like, well, someone's shooting at you. Yeah, so I'm shooting back. And like, that was their only excuse for shooting. Someone's shooting me, so I'm going to shoot back. I don't care who it is. And then there was this guy who just killed a whole bunch of there's a truck full of dead people, and you had no idea like what was going on. But for some reason the journalists were trying to save the child, they basically took the child because the child went off with his friend, and they got that car got stopped. And I don't know why they stopped the car. I don't know why they took the whole thing didn't make any sense, and I didn't like the film at all. But I do think though that there's a lot of bad energy or bad negative. Films like this would make people hate the world. They'll make people want to kill themselves. They'll make people think, if they watch this film and believe that this is how people really are, this is the true nature of people, they're just going to not want to live, and they're just going to want to commit suicide. And if they did this film to try and encourage people to commit suicide, well, I think they're going to achieve that. If people think that the Matrix is real and that they can die and be born into better time in the time frame, a lot of people are going to take that option, especially after watching a film that's so negative and so depressing as this one. I guess there's good and bad in everything, and that is the good is that you're going to kill lots of people using this incredibly depressive song. But there's so many people that would watch it and just be like, yeah, this is exactly how humans are. When really it's just like, no, humans are not this bad. Why are you watching this? Why would you want to watch this film? Why would you want to believe that people are this bad? And it's just